octagon cage, beat Vendel Oliveira by second round TKO then. But here's Scott Askham, the underdog on the odds. But somebody who believes he can get the upset here in Brno.
Ondro, koho dáte, s tím budeme zapasit. Jedeme.
Brno is about to experience the comeback of one of the greatest fighters ever to enter the cage on the Czech-Slovak scene. At the peak of his powers, Murodov is about to go head-to-head with a British legend, Scott Askham. The former middleweight number 12 has a successful octagon debut already under his belt. Almost a year ago in Manchester, England, Askham showed his opponent, German champion Marc Ducis, what he is made of.
Great takedown here.
He has 20 wins on his record, 14 of which came before the limit.
Oi, jumping knee, that land heavy.
It's been 5 years since we saw the charismatic Murodov enter the octagon cage.
Proč jsem rozhodnul oktagon, protože ty fanoušky, domácí jako atmosféra.
The Uzbek warrior has collected the scalps of such names as Tato Primera, Avo Langa, Alessio Di Chirico, as well as MMA veteran Brian Barberena.
Těším se fakt opravdu na ten zápas, nepodceňuju soupeře.
He always battles, he fights every inch.
Porazil Khalidova, porazil Materlu, velký jména porazil. Cíle teďka přiblížit se k pásu a vyhrát ten pás.
Is Mac about to add another victory to the two he's already achieved in octagon? Or will it be Askham who triumphs in the battle of this middleweight elite?
It certainly is a battle of the middleweight elite. These two tried and tested warriors will battle it out inside the octagon cage here tonight. But first, let's welcome Scott Askham, a legend of British MMA, two-time BAMMA champion. There he is with his father there. Again, a great support system. Huge following in the UK, carries that around the world with him. Two-time BAMMA champion, former KSW champion, wins over Marshman, Nunes. I'll mention it, Varna, 2 times Materla, Khalidov, and in his debut at Octagon 48, beat Marc Ducis. And I feel, Luke, people are underestimating him. They almost felt like the KSW days were the best of Askham. But physically, he has been through a lot. He has turned, you know, a big back injury now around with surgery, with rehabilitation, and he is looking as good physically as we have ever seen him. It also means his mind is fully in the fight. He's not worried about his body, and he believes in the quote that I read today and saw on the build-up to this, that he is levels, and I say it again, levels against above Murodov.
Well, we know that, I know for a fact, because I tried to fight him at light heavyweight and he wouldn't accept the fight. To see him in the Ducis fight recently, I said to him in the interview we had on YouTube, if you fight like you did against Ducis, you're going to get knocked out. And he agreed. He said it wasn't my best performance. I'm coming off injury. I fought a weight class that I said to myself that I would never fight at. Seeing him back at middleweight, and look at the shape that he's in.
Yeah.
And like you said, happy, healthy, experienced, very, very dangerous on the feet, on the ground. Fantastic defensive wrestling and offensive if he wants to. You know, I think tonight is a big night for Scott Askham.
Inside the cage for the second time. As we get set and ready to welcome one of the heroes of Czech-Slovak MMA, a man who flies the Uzbeki flag but is based in Prague, fighting out of that monster gym alongside the Ankos gym in Poland. A man who has waited 1,883 days to make the walk back to the octagon cage. We have seen him corner fighters. We have seen him cage side for some of the biggest nights in octagon. He has watched octagon go from a big Czech-Slovak show to the biggest show in Europe. And now he gets to return here.
A real showman, as you can tell with this entrance. He's waiting for his moment. An absolute celebrity here in the Czech Republic. And his home of Uzbekistan as well.
And now, listen to the arena as he enters it. Listen to this crowd as they welcome him back to the octagon cage. Look at his career. 7-fight UFC vet. You look back at his fights, 26 fights, 20 finishes, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. And his story about the UFC, and it is such a shame because he having big fights, big battles, beat some good contests over there, but got infected, staph infection back in April, was offered a fight in, I believe it was June, was still on antibiotics, still unable to train. He showed me the shots of the surgery he had to have at the back of his head where they removed the infection, the big balls of pus that were causing him to struggle through. And then because he couldn't take those fights, was eventually released. But he said, that's fine with me, brother. He said, my health means more than anything, and this, he feels, was meant to be. And one thing that says a lot to me, Luke, and I think we touched on it in the commentary meeting, was there could have been an easier fight for him to come back to. We could have welcomed him back with, you know, a favourable matchup, but he did not even blink when they first offered him Scott Askham, and that says to me, you know, what he wants to achieve in this cage, and it all starts here, testing himself against Askham.
I mean, whoever wins this fight has got to be fighting for the title very, very shortly afterwards, very soon. These two are the elite of the middleweight division. A great description of what his career has been and how rare it is to see what's happened to with his UFC. But, you know, fortunate for us, we get to sit here cage side. We'll take it and watch this incredible bout between these two fantastic athletes. I feel like the power is on Mac's side, and if he can make that count and have his moment and land on the chin of Askham, it could be a tough night. But apart from that, I think this is a very, very, very tough challenge for him.
World-class middleweight contest. Askham staring his man down. And now we'll look at the tail of the tape between the two. 34 years of age is Murodov against the 36-year-old Leeds fighter, Scott Askham. Height and reach pretty much identical. The experience slightly on the side, but these numbers mean nothing, including that tip spot odds 1-4 in favour of Murodov. Let's get this co-main event underway.
This is the co-main event of this evening. Middleweight bout, 3 5-minute rounds, and the referee in charge is Polish referee. Let me introduce you both fighters. We will start in the blue corner. 36 years old, stands 190 centimeters tall, weight in 83.6 kilos, represents American top team. Coaches in his corner is Jack Grant. He has a professional record of 26 fights, 20 wins, 6 losses, fighting out of United Kingdom. Scott Askham! Across the cage, 34 years old, 190 centimeters tall, weight in 84.4 kilos. Represents MMA Ankos and MMA Monster. Coaches in his corner are Petr Monster Kníže, Andrzej Kościelski and Marek Dziński. He has a professional record of 35 fights, 26 wins, 20 finishes, 1 draw and 8 losses. Representing Neruda Cup team, Gold Fingers, and fighting out of Uzbekistan, Maxmud Murodov.
Gentlemen, you know the rules. Always defend yourself, always listen to my command. If I said stop, you will stop. If you want touch the gloves, back to the corners.
Set and ready for our co-main event. Middleweight mayhem on the cards. Served up here in the winning group arena. Bruno Scott Askham, his second fight under the Octagon promotion banner, taking on the returning Mac Murodov. Askham in the white shorts, blue corner. Murodov, red corner, black and green shorts. Me, Brian Lacey, alongside Luke Barnett, and that southpaw versus orthodox evident from the start here, Luke.
And Murodov starting off very loose, moving well. Askham, a crafty southpaw, very difficult to deal with, throws that kick very well. Back straight in with the takedown, and has that explosive energy, especially in the first round.
A lot of his finishes come in that first round, Luke.
Looking for that arm drag to the back is Scott. Now in the half guard on the bottom, digging in, good with that. And interesting to see this from Mac early on, get the takedown. Got it down with ease, to be honest. Good timing, maybe unexpected from Scott.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. I think it was unexpected. I think it surprised Askham.
Managing to control this position and stifle Scott a little bit on the ground. Has that underhook on the right hand side, trying to push that hip.
And Scott Askham, you'll see the gum shield there for his brother Tig. Lost his brother in a car accident. Still carries that memory. Fights for him in honor of him.
Very good tactical decision this early on from Murodov, because then if they do get back to the feet, he can always feint that takedown and explode in. He does that very, very well. And now trying to elevate, gets those butterfly hooks. Great work from Scott. Scott's crafty on the ground, dangerous.
Yeah, a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Murodov. Controlled pressure here, Luke.
Has long limbs as well. Good pass attempt there. So he can throw those legs up pretty well. Not used to seeing him on the back in the center of the octagon cage, though.
Interesting start from Murodov, and again, respecting the quality of Askham, I'm sure, and Askham a finisher himself, 12.
Well, Askham likes to make it dirty. He likes to be on, when he's on the feet, he likes the war. He almost steps into it, likes elbows, likes knees, likes that liver kick with the southpaw stance, And sometimes strikers, they just don't like dealing with southpaw, so maybe that's it with Mac as well. I think it's tactically a fantastic decision from him to get this down to the mat. I want to see a bit more urgency from Scott on the ground, a little bit relaxed at the moment. Gets hold of this shoulder now, trying to get the foot on the hip. Could switch something up now, has a good position.
They're working to try and make some space or make something happen. Murodov, though, trains at that monster gym, Petr Kanije in his corner, but also has spent the majority of his camp at Ankos MMA training with the likes of Jon Serdu.
And he now is in his own corner as well. I mean, Askham now has foot on the hip and he's back up against the fence. I imagine we'll see Scott build up and try and get back up to his feet pretty soon.
Look at that head pressure from Murodov, though.
You see it here with the referee's cam. Has that whizzer. See if he can kick off with that right leg. At the moment, just bullying him, though, is Murodov.
There's a great video with Carlos Ramola talking about his first rounds with Murodov, and again, Carlos is usually the bull, and he said Murodov got hold of me and just manhandled me like no one had, and he went to Petr Kanije, who is this guy, who is this kid, and he said he couldn't even sleep that night because he thought about the rounds that he went through with Murodov.
The question is if he can keep it up for the 3 rounds, though. He has that explosive energy, and he is very, very powerful on top, as you can see. He's been pretty calm so far in this first round, hasn't expelled too much energy, because Askham's not really, he's a pro, he's a veteran, he's taking his time getting up to his feet. He's not in any real danger here at the moment. Just obviously losing the round. Minute and a half remain, trying to now set something up. Great movement there from Mac.
What is he trying to set up there? He's got the foot on the hip, he's got the shot on the hip, he's got the shoulder lock. Oh, good shots on the inside.
Yeah, they were underneath the arm. There you go, that's inspired out Scott to get back up to his feet. Does well there. In on the arm drag here, maybe going to try and get himself off that fence.
1 minute, 5 seconds left.
A very good defensive wrestler up against the cage is Scott. Hard to take down. See if Mac can make it happen. Gets in on this single. Great wrist control on that right arm from Scott. Head position's perfect here from Mac.
Murodov as well.
Only a minute remaining, and Murodov in his corner taking very calm instruction. Done a great job so far in this opening round.
And I think it was a surprise to Askham that he came out with that takedown so early.
Perfectly timed. If he can get this takedown, as he gets another explosive takedown, that's interesting to see. Almost like a high crotch, and then pulled him off the fence. Only 20 seconds. No, very impressive this.
And not the sort of sustained positions we're used to seeing.
We've seen him dive over the guards before. There he goes. That right hand.
Oh, he's cut him. There's a cut. There's a cut. I don't think it's much more of a graze.
Almost like a high crotch, and then pulled him off the fence and circled him out. Only 20 seconds remain, though. Very impressive this. But then he
not the sort of
nice elbows. Not that impressed me the most.
Yeah, sustained.
A bit of a shot on the ground, great control. So I feel like, listen, Scott's been in there with the best. He knows what he's doing. People talk about his victories. I like to talk about, I've watched every single one of his fights, but his fight against Jack Hermansson, who's an extremely fantastic grappler, and he had a great back-and-forth battle with him. It was the shocking takedown that kind of came out of nowhere, but then he just brutalized Scott on the ground, didn't Mac? All judges scoring it correctly. Obviously there.
10-9 on all 3 judges' scorecards.
Scott looks very calm in the corner, as does Mac. Both these guys, elite-level athletes. we could see this as a 5-rounder realistically. I mean, both these guys have got great engines. I would say Scott's got the better engine, but we'll see. Mac looks so relaxed.
And that's his type of fight. Off we go. Touching gloves.
Let's see if we can change the momentum in this one now. Circling away from the power is Mac, doing well, stepping off to his left, crossing his feet a little bit, because obviously it's the way you're not used to going. If you're an orthodox fighter, fighting against an orthodox fighter, used to going, you know, to the right, measured.
Oh, look at that up and under. He read that completely, Luke. It was almost like he saw it in slow motion. Threw the jab, pulled back, saw the kick coming and just ducked under it. Exquisite.
And now he's got this wrist ride.
And we saw Askham struggle with this position. What difference does he have to make now? Again, he's away from the cage.
I feel like he needs to get out of jiu-jitsu mode and get out of defense mode and get into offense, and needs to start hustling. You know, he needs to start working, because that wrist ride, beautiful. Great work here from Murodov, maybe getting this side choke attempt, has the setup, Scott aware and escapes. I feel we just need some urgency from him on the bottom. I think in the first round, like you said, he just was a bit relaxed, but now Mac is doing everything he can to upset the breathing and let these little shots, they're not big, but they just are annoying, and they heighten the heart rate and tire you out and make you open up the different positions so maybe you can pass. You know, Scott needs to get on his side, needs to get an underhook, needs to push in the hips, needs to do something.
The other thing they do is chip away at the time as well, Luke, and that's going fast already. 1.5 minutes into this second round, and Askham back in the same spot.
Yeah, and again, settling for the jiu-jitsu game at the moment on the bottom. It's very, very difficult. Listen, Mac's doing all the right things, moving his hips very well, passing laterally as well, you can see. But I'd like Scott to open up the guard and try and be active. It's very difficult in the middle of the cage to make anything happen, especially with Mac's style, what he's doing. He's so high up the body at the moment. He needs to get the foot on the hip like he did in the previous round.
Yeah, look at Mac as well. Trying to stifle the breathing, fingers across the mouth. Short shots.
Nice shoulder shrugs as well from the top.
Watch out, these shots are in the back of the head. Watch out for that.
Now, Scott Askham was supposed to fight Karim Engizek. That fight came off, unfortunately. Now Engizek is fighting for the title, and I'm sure Kinsel and Engizek, in fact, the rest of the middleweight division will have their eyes firmly on this fight.
Now Askham looking to do something with that left butterfly hook. Gives up on it now. He's got the guard high up the back. But again, Mac just very, very high at the moment, trying to create some posture. That left foot on the hip now for Scott on the bottom. Trying to work his way up the body. Difficult to do, but the cage is just there, though. We saw him get up in the first round. Time is good. So 3 minutes have gone, though, in this round. It's been in a negative position for far too long.
Yeah.
Now we'll see the fence. Now we need to see if we can do something, but it's impossible, not impossible, but extremely difficult to get up in the full guard. Needs to get your feet under you. Now he's got that foot on the hip, needs to push away. Mac will be putting all of his weight through his hips and his head.
Yeah, Mac's weight distribution is excellent as well.
Yeah, you can see it. Pushes off, tries to get back up, needs to push that head down. This is his moment. Good control of that wrist there from Mac to pull him off the fence. Whizzer here from Scott, needs to get on his side or try and get some sort of sweep. Very, very difficult.
90 seconds.
Here, Aaron Abbey in the corner. Scott Askham here, saying 90 seconds.
Yeah, Jack Grant, Steve Nightingale and Aaron Abbey all in the corner there of Scott Askham.
This is a flawless performance so far from Murodov. Not taking any damage, really, not in any danger, in complete control, and just bullying at the moment, using his physicality.
And again, it's made even more impressive when you think about the opponent, right? You know what sort of fights Askham has been in. Has had a phenomenal career in Europe.
Well, styles make fights, obviously. And I'd say this is definitely for most English fighters as well. But this is the weakness for most English guys, right? The wrestling, but not the takedowns, but just the positional strength. Go for the leg lock.
Diving for the leg.
Might get this. Uses that to stand back up. But gets bullied back down. Beautiful attempt. Great try. Might see it again from him if he can elevate with this butterfly hook on the left side.
I like that, though, just trying something different.
They're crafty again, yeah. Like I said. It was close as well, almost got the wrap.
20 seconds left in this second round. It has been more of the same from Murodov. One question really asked by Scott Askham with the leg attack, but Murodov ahead of the game on that, separates and then straight back to top position.
Looks extremely uncomfortable here, does Scott? You know, that head position, buried in him, heavy is Murodov.
Now, Scott Askham, again, you talked about it, that veteran experience. Look at Murodov still talking to Andre Novotny and Pavel Neruda. Chatting away, smiling. Wink gave us a little wink as well. But now Askham has got a take all that experience, all those times he's been in these positions.
Well, he needs a knockout. I mean, on the ground, he's struggling to grasp anything of any real significance. Has the ability for sure, but he's got to be aggressive, but not too aggressive, because then he gets taken down. He's in a real situation here. His corner trying to rally him. Been a fantastic comeback performance at the moment. Return, I should say, rather than comeback from Mac.
Jack Grant, you can see him. Oh, sorry, we're looking at some of the action, but Jack Grant in the corner is really trying to get in the ear of his training partner and friend.
I would maybe switch up to Teeps down the middle with that right leg rather than going for that kick, because he's waiting for that. But he's such a weapon of Askham that he utilises. There's that leg lock attempt we see in the highlights. It didn't quite work, but he's got to come out and establish and earn the respect right now of Murodov, because it's been easy work so far in these first 2 rounds.
They touch gloves and off we go.
There's the team.
There you go, third and final round here. Nice shot from Scott Askham, that rear leg firing into the ear leg, firing into the midsection of Matt Murodov.
Needs to time these kicks, needs to throw some hands, control the no man's land, and then throw a beautiful return kick there from the Uzbek. That's his style. That's what we're used to seeing from Max, seeing that explosive style. Needs to be careful, doesn't explode into anything. The left hand there of Askham.
Look how fresh Mac is as well, stepping forward.
Yeah, he's been the man in control of this entire fight. He's had the easy route so far. I imagine he's going to change levels pretty soon. Needs to throw hands, mask that takedown attempt. And I'd have to say, if we see this go, nice
jump knee. Jump knee.
Follows it up with a kick to the midsection. Full of tricks is Askham.
Yeah, and he's not a guy you beat in the mind very easily. Mentally strong, huge mental fortitude, and needs to lean on all of that right now in this third and final round.
At the moment, controlling the center of the octagon cage, forcing his man back, waiting for the timing at the moment.
Murodov's right arm, is a lot lower now. It's across that midsection. Maybe that teep, that kick to the liver.
Oh, that come up high. Good spot that, Brian. You saw he was leaving that opening. Scott saw it as well. Just skimmed off the head there with the feet.
3.5 minutes now for Askham.
Returns that teep. This is much better though so far for Askham. Managed to control the distance. That's what he struggled with in the first and second. Doesn't want to overthrow. That's the mistake he made in the second round. Throwing that head kick a little bit too close. Both go for the same calf kick. That little half step back from Scott, it controls the distance very, very well.
Oof, right hand comes over the top.
That landed though, he caught it, but it landed to the body. That little change of level from Mac is great. They can feint that now and power in with that right hand, because Scott's so aware of the takedowns, does not want to get taken down now with 2.5 minutes left to go in this third round. Needs a finish, needs a knockout. Mac switches to southpaw, switches back to orthodox.
Smell that level change coming.
Yeah, he's looking low. I can see him waiting to time it. He's worried about that knee that we saw from Scott. Left hand lands, knocks the head back a little bit of Mac.
Yeah, the most success in this round Scott has had in the fight.
This is more of a fight I expected to see, to be honest, in the first and second, but Mac got on top, got control.
The entries were so good and quick as well. The crowd want more here as well, you can hear that. For the first time in this arena, we got boos.
Again, using that knee, maybe just to put off this takedown attempt, even if it's just psychological. That right hand come over the top. I'd like to see that teep come back from Scott again. That worked out so well when he came out in the first, because he can stop that. It will stop him flying forward. If he can go to the midsection with that teep a couple times, he'll bring the hand down again. That right hand is low of Mac, though. He's circling the right way. Ooh, that's what I expected to see from Murodov. They fly forward and throw 3 shots, and he's got some devastating knockouts. If you go watch his highlights, minute and 20 seconds left. Scott's got to go for broke here.
Yeah, really, the clock is against him firmly now. You can tell he's a little bit wary of this, wary of these entries.
Better hips this time. Good work.
Oh, a nice knee.
Now needs to circle off the fence. Needs to use that overhook. He's got control of the wrist. Going into that single. This is the high crotch that Mac got earlier. I think it was the second round. It was from this position again, but controlling the wrist well.
Final 45 seconds of this.
Yeah, Mac just needs to stifle the fight now, just needs to control up against the fence. Scott's the one who's got all the work to do. Needs to show urgency, needs to push the head, needs to make something happen. Very, very tough. Not a fight I expected to see the way this has played out.
No, but made it impressive, more impressive the performance of Matt Murodov, just because of how well we know and how good Scott Askham is.
Maybe has an opportunity here for a ninja choke off that front headlock, that front neck, if he's got it underneath the chin. Mac aware of it though and bringing that head high. Punches his way out of it, does well. 10-second clacker, looking for the arm drag is Scott. He's battling for it, gets it, needs to go.
Now chasing something, jump knees from Matt Murodov.
And frustration on the face of Askham. A tough fight, a fantastic performance in the return as they exchange words in the octagon cage.
Yeah, nothing but respect, I'm sure, after the fight.
Felt like that fight didn't really get going, and I think it was purposefully from Mac. Beautiful control in the round 1 and 2. We saw in the third round more of the fight that I expected to see. More of the back and forth, more of the establish of range. A much better fight from Scott in the third round.
But you look now, you see Matt Murodov coming over to speak to Vimola and Jiří Procházka. Really, and again, he's obviously respected the skill set that Askham has brought in, but a near flawless performance from him. And hardly out of breath, Luke. That is the impressive thing. You know, people come out of a big promotion like the UFC. Sometimes you don't see him put as much in as for these fights, but he is fully motivated to work his way to that title, and I'm sure we will see him in Eintracht watching that Engizek versus Kinsel fight. Here we go, Luke. Talk us through this third round.
That was that knee that was probably the most, and that follow-up body kick as well was probably the best moment for Scott. And these charging forward shots from Mac was more what I expected to see. That jumping knee at the end was very close. That would have been an interesting finish. But yeah, I think almost like too much of a veteran performance, too relaxed in there, Scott, in the first couple of rounds when he was on his back. Just didn't we see the stats there? I mean, they're heavily in the favor of Mac, but the only one that matters is the 3 takedowns. I think that's what gave him control. Let's pass it over now. Let's get in the cage. Let's bring the fighters together, and we can welcome the return and the victory of Murodov.
Ladies and gentlemen, see how judges scored this fight. All 3 judges scored this fight 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, Maxmud Murodov. Vítám tě zpátky, Machu. Fantastický výkon proti někomu na takové úrovni, jako je Scott Askham, kterého si vůbec nedokázal, nebo vůbec nepustil do hry.
Ahoj, Brno. Zdravím všichni. Moc vám všem děkuji, že přišli jste. A já jsem tady, jak Ondra ví, od 12-13 oktagonu. Kurvo, vy jste udělali pokrok. To mě chybělo. Byly nějaké problémy v zdraví, ale nevadí, to je jedno. Hlavně jsem vyhrál. On říkal, že jiný level. Ukázal jsem, že i můžu wrestlit. Byly problémy, ale to jsou moje problémy zdravotní. Ale vyhraje doma. Moc ti děkuju, Pálo. Tobě děkuju za tu práci, opravdu, a mě to chybělo. Kurva, když někde zapasíš, takhle fanoušky probíháš. Omlouvám se ještě jednou, že neukázal ten zápas, který očekávali, ale vyhraje doma.
Já myslím, že jenom blázen by mohl kritizovat takovýhle výkon proti Scottu Esgemovi. Slyšel jsem, že tam Carlos říká, vůbec porazil si borce světového formátu, vůbec tě to nemusí trápit, jakým způsobem, protože si dominoval všechny 3 kola.
Asi netrápím, jenom říkám, že lidi očekávají ode mě něco jiného, nejsem Carlos, nechodím na zem, ale ukázal, že zem taky mám. Carlos mě něco naučil tam.
Bez pochyby, určitě ano. Budeme se těšit, že tě uvidíme ještě do konce roku.
Zavolej v pondělí, dáme kávu a není problém. Ještě chtěl bych poděkovat moc jednoho člověka, který od začátku mé kariéry, Tomáš Ptáček, Goldfingers, je to můj první sponzor a i Slavy Kolář. To 2 lidi, které ve mě věřili. A hlavně, že Petr Monster, kníže tady, dědek náš, který nemůže nějak ukončit kariéru. První můj coach a doteď můj coach, Andrzej Koščelský, Marek Držinský, ty lidi, kteří, Carlos, Paška, brat, privět. Všichni z Polska se mají Ankosu, Kubu, taky zdravím. Všichni mají sparring partnery, mají sponzory. Díky vám všem tam, kde jsem. A moje přítelkyni, Sabina tam nikam jinam chodí, ale nevadí. Miluji tě, děkuji tě. A tuhle výhru už malinka moje zlatíčko vyrostla, bude tomu rozumět. Rumínko, moc tě miluju a tohle výhra jenom pro tebe. Ahoj, užijte si večer.
Děkujeme moc. Murodov je zpátky.
That was